Hi, I'm Ben Ang, Ableton Certified Trainer and Principal Tutor of the NUS Electronic Music Lab.
That's some strange combination of using loop samples together with MIDI tracks. As you can see now, samples are something that's been recorded already. It was done somewhere else, and somebody recorded it. And these are the samples that are meant to be looped. But there are also samples that are meant to be played just one off, and we call them one-shots. And to play a one-shot, I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to play it in a MIDI track. So I'm going to insert a MIDI track, and I'm going to put in an instrument that many know as my favorite instrument, the simpler. And I'm just going to drag the plain simpler. I'm not going to open up and show all the presets. I'm just going to drag the first one, the blank simpler, into my new MIDI track, which then creates a blank instrument here saying drop sample here. Now, of course, when you are given an invitation like that, how can you say no? The sample I'm going to drop is, let me see what is the one that I've chosen in the handout. Up poly lead. Okay, go to my samples. I type in up poly lead. I'm going to be playing it somewhere in the range of C3. So I'll choose the C3 to match it correctly. And I'll really drag in here. So right now it's not playing any notes at all. If you play, you can't hear anything. I need to actually put in notes. So I need to, how do I put in notes? Highlight the bars, right click, insert MIDI clip. This will become second nature to you. And I'm just going to randomly put in notes, right? Just because. So here I have a very short note that here goes. Why does it die off so soon? Here is where you actually get to do some sound design. And this is really a very, very basic introduction, okay? Because we're actually going to have several sessions on how to do sound design. So referring again to the notes so that I don't overdo it, we can click on the Controls tab. And the Controls tab shows us, look, we now have controls. If this filter is on, you see the bottom left corner filter? You can actually filter out frequencies. So let's put this on a loop, and I'm just going to solo it, okay, this track by itself. I'm going to bring down the frequency, and you see it's more muffled. I can boost the last resonance just before the cutoff by increasing resonance, which creates a squelchy sound. So that's playing with the filter. Okay, let's bring the, I can also drag the filter on the grid itself. Doo-doo, nice, right? Okay. This is the LFO, the second window. LFO is low frequency oscillator. It will actually oscillate a particular parameter. So let's say I'm going to oscillate the volume. And here it's oscillating 1 per second. It's a bit weird. I'm going to oscillate it instead by clicking on these notes every 16th. So what does it sound like? This will oscillate Right now, nothing is oscillating. I'm going to oscillate the volume 100%. So you can see the volume is oscillating up and down. I can make this more pronounced by making longer notes. Then you can really hear more of the effect. So let's hear. So that's the LFO, the oscillator. If I want to see the simpler again, oh, where did it go? Where did it go? I go back to the track. I double click on the track and my simpler came back. I can also not, instead of the volume, I could oscillate the pitch. Oh, this would be weird. So that's the pitch.
That sounds really weird. It sounds like those DJ scratch thing that's just really weird.
Yes, it does. And I can oscillate the filter. So the filter will be. So these are the different things that I can actually oscillate. I can make them move around. Okay. So I'm going to turn it down. So all 0% again.
Maybe you can explain a little bit more about oscillation, what it really means. Like,
so if you look at this waveform, right, as Yirong has asked, right, it's actually making changes to the volume. So you can see if the volume is going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's going in the shape that you see here, which is a sine wave. So you can see that if I were to make this, instead of every 1/16, I make them into, let's say, 1/4 instead. It will be a slower up and down on terms of volume. Let's hear, volume will be the most. Can hardly hear because each of these notes is actually 1/4. Okay, so let's make a longer note. Then we should be able to hear more of the difference. And for the filter, again, okay, let's bring it down to 1/8 so you can hear a bit more. Now, for filter, it is not the volume that's changing, but what frequencies are being let through. So the more they are increased, the more the filter will have lots of frequencies, no frequencies, lots of frequencies, no frequencies. Which gives you that effect. So this way you can actually create a lot of tremolos and vibratos in your music. Yirong?
I think maybe to explain further, a filter, you can think of it as if, you know, when you sing a note like oh, but then you progressively close your mouth, right? Then you start to hear the brighter parts of your voice go away. Ow. Basically, your mouth is like a filter, so you can think of it that way. You're letting more frequencies through, or you are holding them back. So this oscillation that Ben is showing us, modulation oscillator or an LFO basically makes something wobble. So yeah, yeah.
So this is illustrating what Yirong just said. And we will actually have more in-depth sessions on sound design through the semester. So relax, this is just an introduction. The last one is this thing called the amplitude envelope. The attack is how long it takes for the sound to start. So right now, if I change the attack, the sound will start slower. See, the sound is starting slower, starting faster. I'm going to change the release. Okay, the in-between parts we'll talk about in another lesson. The release is how long it takes for the sound to die away. Remember I said that this sound actually is a bit abrupt. I'm going to increase the release. I can actually make this sound last forever. If I go back to the sample, I could switch on the loop and I could loop sections of it. So by moving these arrows, I can actually make this thing last forever. So it will just repeat the same section over and over again, even though this is a one shot. This is a very, 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 very basic introduction to show you that you can basically drag any sound from the outside world and make it into an instrument. Now, there are certain things to note. For this one, it's already been tuned to C, and the Templar's default is C. This instrument simpler, it defaults at C. So if here it will match whatever, it will match everything else that's playing. But if I drag in this sample, which is a F sharp instead, you will now hear that it doesn't match the music. Wait, let me turn off the solo. Let me bring this down to -12, so it's not so overpowering. Completely off. Why is that so? Because it is not tuned to a C, it's tuned to a F sharp 3. So I need to go to controls and I need to take this transpose. F sharp is F sharp to F, down to F, F to E, E to E flat to D, D to D flat to C. So I need to go -6. So I need to transpose -6. Then it will match. Don't worry if you don't know how to calculate this, we'll teach you how in subsequent. But I can just tell you if it's F sharp, you need to transpose -6, then it will match. Now it matches. Make it a bit louder. See, now it matches because this sample, you can see the name of it is tuned to F sharp 3. I need to transpose it -6 in order to match. Those that are C will match instantly, no need to transpose. But those that are any other, you need to transpose. And I will put up a chart of what note means how many semitones to transpose for those who don't know music theory. Okay. Yeah, but for now, you're just playing with this. Those that are F sharp, -6. Those that are C can leave at 0. So please try, look at the handout, load in some other samples into a simpler. Again, the thing is insert MIDI track and drag in from the instruments, drag in simpler without any presets, so that you see an empty drop sample here. Then you can go to samples and drop in some sample into here and you can use it to start clicking your own notes. Okay. You can even take this and I can take this simpler and I can drag it over my melody. So now instead of grand piano, it's going to be played with this. Yeah, so you can do anything with any instrument. This now shows you that you have an infinite range of sounds that you can use for your music. You can, whatever you can download, and I've given you links to download. Don't do it now because it's an endless quest. There's infinite number of sounds you can now download. Have fun.